Our new segment, Business Better. I wanted to share some news for you entrepreneurs who received funding for COVID-19. All right. Um, and so this may apply if you got PPP. It should apply if you got EIDL, but it's real murky right now. And as I always say, I am not a CPA. So you're going to want to check with your CPA about this. So there is a great possibility that you might have to perform a single audit if you received COVID-19 funding from the federal government. All right. And so for those of you who are going, what? Okay, if you are not a nonprofits, generally speaking, get an audit every year. And so they are not single. They are continuous. They get an audit every year because they're receiving funds, and so they have to be able to show how they allocated them, that they're running their business appropriately. Nonprofits have a whole other level of accountability that you for-profit people know nothing about, but you're about to learn some of it. So when it comes to the single audit, I will tell you from experience, if you're going to a reputable CPA, a certified public accountant, if you're going to a reputable CPA, their firm, they normally charge $1,200 upward of multiple thousands to do a decent audit. Right? And I don't know if they're going to come out with a CPA special for you or if they're going to jack the price up because so many of you are going to need one. I don't know. Not a CPA, but that's an FYI. And let me tell you what's normally involved. So if you work for like a mental health agency or a medical firm, you're probably accustomed to audits, and it's like that, but it's a lot more financial rather than just about your client information. So they tend to show up. If you're scheduling with a CPA, then it's not a surprise. Only when you're working with an agency that you're working under do they do these surprises. For you small business owners, you should be scheduling this audit yourself. And so ask them for the type of documentation they're going to be looking for. And it will vary. And so whatever you claimed on especially for your EIDL loan, right? Whatever you claimed on there, if you claimed that you needed to use the money for paying employees, doing repairs, you need to have all of that documentation. If you claim that you only had $20,000 saved, but really, I don't know what you really had, then whatever you put on that report, you need to be able to show documentation for. So this is a heads up, because I would assume this is going to line up with tax time, which isn't until April, but I don't know for sure because no one knows right now. Right now, it's just, hey, this could be happening. And so with that in mind right now, you should be prepping anyway for tax season. So keep in mind, pull out your application, your copy of your application that you did for your EIDL loan, or your EIDL. The L stands for loan. Or if you want to look at, like, what did you put in your application? What was that information? Pull out everything you have that relates to that. Consult with your CPA and say, okay, so I hear this might be happening. What would I need? And start getting quotes now to see, like, what is this going to cost you? I'm just saying. So as we help you do business better, we want to make sure that you have the information you need to be successful. We don't want you to be shocked and surprised, often like, oh my God, they need XYZ. That's why a lot of you had problems getting the PPP loan to begin with, because you didn't have the documentation to be able to apply. So I'm giving you a heads up. Heads up. Get the documentation. Find out from your CPA what they would charge. If you don't have a CPA, get a referral for someone in your area. Check out their reviews, all that good stuff. Call around. I'm a firm believer. I'm like the federal government. 3 quotes. I believe in it. And see what they're going to cover, how long it's going to take, the whole 9. All right? So heads up. You might have to do an audit.